dangerous, and they're unranked. How is that at 22-4?
I have no idea. If come Monday this Cincinnati team is not ranked, I would be absolutely shocked. This team plays hard, they're competitive, and they have star power. That star power, Jaron Cumberland.
Our officials today, Doug Shows, Ron Groover, and Mike Nance, as we are underway from Hartford. Different starting lineup today for UConn. Eric Cobb and Terrence Smith get the start, but Tal and Gilbert not in the lineup to begin today.
And they're not in the lineup because when you're rebuilding a program and rebuilding a culture, there are certain non-negotiables. They will play today, but they've got to buy in to what Dan Hurley is selling.
Brendan Adams misfiring on the first shot today, and right up the court quickly is Cincinnati. And Trayvon Scott brings it back out. There's your starting five for the Bearcats. Very consistent. You talked about Cumberland, Jennifer, their top assist man. Everyone on that group right there has performed at a high level throughout the season. And there's Jennifer for three.
Jennifer sat out, but played behind Troy Copain for 2 years. But he is a big-time shot maker that takes great care of the basketball.
Here's Terrence Smith.
When you play against Cincinnati, you're dealing with their switching defenses, their matchup zone. Danny Hurley's going to look to try to get some slips on big and small screens to try to attack that matchup.
Yeah, what was he saying during shoot-around today? He was just trying to get some havoc out there and get Cincinnati moving around defensively.
Yeah, they're trying to move them around some, and by moving them around some, anytime you have a small on big screen, that screener can then slip to the rim. The key is, will the passer be ready to deliver the play?
Cobb, double team on him. Smith gets by Cumberland. The floater is not there, and the rebound out to Jennifer.
Good solid possession right there by UConn. They got the ball reversed. They got a mismatch. They got to the rim. They just have to finish.
These teams met earlier this season in January. It was a 2-point overtime win by Cincinnati at home.
Nick Cronin talked to us, great pass right there by Cumberland. He talked to us prior to the game. When you play Connecticut and Danny Hurley's team, you've got to make sure you match their toughness, their physicality, and their relentless nature. The job Nick Cronin's done in Cincinnati, absolutely incredible, the consistency.
I know you're good friends with him. We've talked to him a lot over the years. What do you think he's done to get to this position where it's been this consistent for this amount of time? Not many coaches have that.
They know exactly who they are and how they win. They recruit to their system. They have a culture of toughness and accountability, and they are relentless defensively.
That was Williams on the jumper to make it 5-0 Cincinnati early here.
Watch, they have great ball pressure, but any screening situation out of this matchup, you'll see players trade men.
A lob into Carlton, and he's fouled. Defense for Cincinnati. It's a stifling defense. Hard to score points on these guys. They out-rebound their opponents. They make you work every single possession.
They make you work, and they protect the rim. They're third in the conference in shot blocks, block shots, and they play so hard defensively. They create havoc. They make you react to them.
The officials discuss it, and Mike Nance said I had a better look at it, and they changed the call. It stays with UConn.
50-50 ball, both teams getting after it.
Yep. Kicked out of bounds there by Jennifer. Good job. Like when the officials come together and talk it over.
They're a team as well.
Yep.
They're playing about their 80th game of the season.
Yes, exactly. You think we travel a lot, right? Carlton. And they call Jennifer for the hand check. It's 3 team fouls here early on Cincinnati, first on Jennifer.
And that's rare for Cincinnati. Cincinnati does a terrific job of defending without fouling, pressuring without fouling. They move their feet. They are connected defensively. They have very active hands. Interesting thing about Carlton right now, Carlton has played a lot of minutes this season. He's got 6 assists for the season.
Jumper by Smith is good, and a foul is called.
You talk about creating havoc right there, just on a little kickback. You force a closeout, you drive the closeout, and Smith, a guy that started at St. Anthony's High School, spent some time at Nebraska, Duquesne, now a graduate transfer. Really nice play.
And there you go. Bob Hurley Sr., who is in the house, and there he is here at UConn today.
Coach Hurley is a basketball junkie. He was at Merrimack yesterday watching 3 of his former players. He's got obviously a plethora of former players, and he really enjoys seeing these guys play.
What a play by the Huskies. Smith. Oh, it's blocked out of bounds by Trayvon Scott coming back on D.
That's Cincinnati basketball right there. Never giving up on the play, staying with the play, competing until the very end. Right there, off at a turnover. Great job by Smith. But Brooks stays with the play and comes up with the block shot.
Inbound into Carlton. And he's got it.
Nick Cronin will not be happy with that. That's a little inside screen, and they got beat out that. It was just poor communication.
Coach, how about this? Previous possession this year, Brooks picked up his 2nd personal foul. He's on the bench for the Bearcats. That's going to change things for them.
And for sure changes things around, because he's a guy that can block shots, run the floor, and a terrific offensive rebounder.
This foul's on UConn. It's on Terrence Smith, his first. Substitution, Alterique Gilbert now comes in for Brendan Adams.
I love what Danny Hurley's done by not starting these guys because of their lack of commitment to the core beliefs and non-negotiables of the program. You've got to make a statement when you're building a program.
On the baseline, Terron fadeaway not there by Williams, rebounded by Carlton. Corner 3 on the way. It's good for Tyler Polley.
104 of his 177 shot attempts from the 3-point line. You've got to locate him in transition. Nick Cronin not going to be happy with defensive transition.
Polley led the team with 19 points last game, shooting almost 50% from 3-point range in the last 5. And it's a 7-0 UConn run, the lead by 2. Cumberland for 3. And a fight for the rebound. That's a jump. And it's up. Trayvon Scott battling with Eric Cobb, and it's going to take us to our first timeout. And Coach Hurley of the Huskies are fired up. It's a 2-point lead here early. It's
ability to get in the lane. To me, that's what Danny Hurley's trying to do. And that last play right there, that 50-50 ball where those guys didn't back down, that was the challenge for this team, because they're coming off a game, UConn, where they absolutely didn't compete the way Danny wants them to compete against SMU. So to start this game, they've been much more assertive and much tougher.
Well, you obviously know about the tradition here at UConn. You've got a coach in Hurley, like you've talked about. There's Jim Calhoun, and the 3-time national champion, coach of the Huskies. The hardness that his team plays with for Coach Hurley. You got the crowd supporting. There's over 10,000 here today. It's a great environment. He's going to have this place rocking in no time.
It's all about building a program, the art of building a program. First, you've got to create a culture and develop your non-negotiables. You've got to recruit to your system, and then it takes time. And it will take time, but Dan will do a terrific job.
Saved from going out. But Williams.
Yeah, look at the intensity. Dan Hurley coaches every single possession. He's in there with his team. He's not standing behind them. He's standing beside them. And they need to take on his personality, and that's what he's trying to do. He's had a terrific early recruiting period. He's got a cook who's come in already, enrolled at UConn for the 2nd semester. So it's a step-by-step process. The first process, getting them to buy into his toughness and his physicality.
He's out there practicing with them at times throughout the sessions that they have as this goes out of bounds to Cincinnati.
Notice he never shoots.
He doesn't shoot.
Yeah, PJ didn't let him shoot either.
His energy is infectious. It's always fun just watching him on the sidelines. I love this shot that we have here with Coach Hurley for UConn.
He's got a great energy. He's got a great love for the game. You can see that. And with his attitude and his work ethic every single day in practice.
That's 2 travels in a row by Cincinnati. Jennifer, then Williams. They still trail by 2.
And UConn's done a really good job on Cumberland early. They did a good job of closing out on him, limiting his space, taking away those catch-and-shoot jump shots. And then the Williams kid's an interesting kid because he played his AU basketball for Kamani Young, who is an assistant coach at UConn right now for New Heights.
There's Trevor Moore, Cincinnati. Foul called on him, his first.
Kane Broom in the game for Cincinnati right now, and he's a guy that's kind of living like a microwave. He's in to make something happen. He can shoot the ball, he can get in the lane, and right now Cincinnati needs to settle into this game defensively, be able to defend without fouling, and get something easy in transition.
Slow to start for that pass. Carlton from Gilbert, but no basket.
Really good vision by Gilbert right there, and that's what Danny Hurley was talking about, kind of creating some havoc and moving that Cincinnati defense around and creating some switches. If you watch Carlton right there, he slips that screen. And if there's any way we can see that one more time and freeze it, we can show the slip. When people talk about slips, the screener is slipping to the rim against the defense, between two defenders.
The foul occurred before the basket. Now trying to work through another team. He got ripped away. It was Kane Broom who you just talked about.
Well, you know it's not coming. You know it's not coming out. Carl gets it. He only has 6 assists for the season. That's what Kane Broom brings. Kane Broom brings the ability to get to the basket, knock down a 3. He's kind of like instant offense. He's extremely aggressive. And if he gets it going, Mick Cronin will go to him.
Kane Broom talking about 15 in black for Cincinnati, and Justin Jennifer, number 3. Those are the only 2 seniors on the Cincinnati team. How scary are they going to be not only this year, but for next year?
They know exactly who they are as a program. They know the type of players that fit in their program. And Alteri Gilbert, how about that finish? You talk about changing speeds and changing directions with guards. He did both, got to the rim, and finished.
Coming off the bench to start the game, he's put UConn up by 2 as Cumberland gets it down low to Seme, and he is fouled.
You're talking about Broom's ability to beat you off the bounce, get to the rim, split the defense, nice little runner. Little guards have to have runners. And on the other end, you talk about changing speeds, changing direction. Great job in the hesitation. And once again, if you're a small guard, little guards have got to have a lot of different ways to finish. Gilbert and Broom, terrific job finishing.
A couple substitutions in here for the Huskies. Adams returning to the lineup with Cobb. Carlton and Smith will take a seat. Once Coach Hurley said he's trying to get some guys to be able to take some guys off the dribble and take advantage of some of these situations. They don't have really one particular player that dominates in a certain area, so it's hard to.
Well, because they don't have Jalen Adams, who scored 17 points a game, who is injured. I mean, Adams changes the dynamic of this team. Adams is a guy who can get to the basket. He can knock down a 3. He sees plays and makes the game easier for others, and he's an experienced player. So you play without him, and it changes the DNA of your team.
Ball out of bounds to UConn. As we talked about Adams, who's missing his 4th straight game for UConn today. Big Monday. It's got really big for number 12 Kansas. They've got any chance of winning the Big 12 regular season title for the 15th year in a row. Got to get by Kansas State, their rival. 9 Eastern, 8 Central on ESPN. And Kansas State beating Kansas earlier on February 5th by 7.
Yeah, and Kansas State right now in the driver's seat. They've got a 2-game advantage. This is a different Kansas State team since they've gotten Dean Wade back. They're scoring 10 more points a game. And the big thing is Barry Brown. Barry Brown, preseason, early in non-conference, he was averaging 13 points a game. Now 18 points a game, shooting 38% from the 3-point line. I actually expect Kansas to win that game, but I expect Kansas State to win the Big 12.
Well, for Kansas State, they haven't won the title since sharing it with Kansas back in 2012. Gilbert's wild runner, rebound by Cincinnati and Fredericks. A lot of contact here. We've had a lot of fouls called on this game early. Moore, and he knocks down a 3 for Cincy.
This is a grown man game, a physical game. You're going to take it into the rim. You're probably getting a body on you, and that's a big shot for Moore. Moore's a kid who really shoots it well in practice for Mick Cronin. Doesn't really understand where his shots are coming from yet, but if he can make shots, it opens up the floor for Cincinnati. See, right there, they created the switch.
Christian Vitale on the step back rebound to Sene.
Vitale, another guy that did not start because he did not totally buy into the culture and the non-negotiables that Dan Hurley is trying to establish.
That's the second foul called on Soseme for Cincinnati.
When you think of Trevor Moore, he's a guy that can knock down a three. He's got deep range. Mick Cronin says he really shoots it well in practice. Watch this contact here. You're going to bring it into the basket area. All right, Cincinnati's going to come at you. They're going to be physical, and they're going to contest shots at the rim.
They're going to fire a lot of different guys at you, too. They could go 10, 11 deep. That's the difference here, the depth between these two teams in this matchup.
Right, that's right on the money. The depth of Cincinnati, and the one thing about Mick Cronin, he's not afraid to play his bench.
Wilson missing on the three. Vitale trying to get after it. And it's going to be a foul called. And we'll step aside. 11:53 to play, first half. Cincinnati by 3 here in the early going.
Tough one yesterday at St. Joseph's to go to win their conference championship. But I think today's probably a little more special day to be around. When you're a coach, to be around your guys, there's nothing better than to be around your guys and go and reminisce on those shared experiences, especially when they're a national championship.
Imagine like the amount of players, like how about for yourself, but how many you coach that you hear from, throughout the season. Here's a three going down for Vitale.
And that's what Vitale brings. But, it's an interesting, I did a tweet today about senior night, because we've got senior nights coming up in the next few weeks. And senior nights are something special because you have a special bond with those guys that have been with you for 4 years. You've seen them grow up. You've seen them mature. Now, if you have a shared experience like Coach, where you've won this national championship and built this amazing program with national championships and NCAAs, a Hall of Fame career that you shared with these guys, that's a special bond.
It lasts forever. Logan Johnson makes it a 14-12 Cincinnati advantage.
Kind of like you and me working together 2 weeks in a row.
Exactly.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
We're developing
special.
That, yes.
I'm teary-eyed after today. I might not be seeing you for a while.
What are you doing next week?
I'm not sure, but I'll be thinking about you.
Okay, yeah. I won't be seeing you down to Houston, but hey, that's going to be a lot of fun. Boy, you just talked about the Cougars, 32 home wins in a row, nation's longest win streak. Game day, you guys will be there. 26-1, best record in the country.
In this season, they are potentially Final Four good, and I always say build it and they will come. And you know what? What Kelvin Sampson's done, he's built a program that can compete with anyone in the country. They've got great depth, great athleticism, terrific backcourt, a physicality to them. And you know what? Build it, and we will be there Saturday. We hope for a great turnout at Houston in the Student Center. Great ball.
Nice feed. That was by Williams, getting it down low to Amadou Diarra.
And that's a problem for Connecticut. Their ball screen defense, those bigs will step out, but those bigs struggle recovering back.
Coming up in the halfway point of this first half.
They really struggled in their ball screen defense against SMU, and Mick Cronin putting those bigs in ball screens, really an issue.
And the recipient on a nice pass.
Create a mismatch, drive the big, make a play. Really good execution by Connecticut right there.
Good feed from Vitale. Corner three, open. And Johnson misfires, but Broom the rebound and back to Johnson.
Logan Johnson is a big-time athlete that's just going to continue to get better. Really good decision there. Now, Broom's giving them really good minutes. And their offense is flowing a little bit better. His ability to put pressure on the defense, not as good defensively.
That's travel. That's a key word there, pressure. I almost feel like everyone that plays for Cincinnati doesn't feel so much pressure because they know the guy either in front of him or behind him is just as equal, and they're giving it their all, and they're playing well.
And that's what Mick has built. He's built a program on accountability and everyone pulling in the same direction. And he's got a group of guys that understand. You play hard, you play together, and then you know what? Someone else steps up and makes a play and gets their opportunity.
Cincinnati bench players have 13 of the 18 points here so far in this game. Rebound to Tao.
UConn doing a nice job. See, they created that switch. It was a big on small. All right, right here, you're going to see if we can freeze it right there with this ball screen right here. Watch the ball screen. You're going to see the ball come off, and watch how slow it takes the Connecticut defender, Cobb, to get back. Weak side is lifted. That's really good execution by Connecticut. By Cincinnati, excuse me.
Now it's Gilbert. Trying to spread out the Bearcats a little bit here in this possession.
Watch on these screens. They're going to create a switch right here, and then they're going to try to attack these switches. Watch again. Now the ball screen, create a switch. They slipped that one a little too soon.
Carlton rolled to the hole, and it's Mattel in and out. Carlton's there for the rebound, and he'll shoot free throws.
And that's an issue for Cincinnati in the matchup zone, because they have so many times they have big on smalls. They are vulnerable to get offensive rebounded against.
Kane Broom with his first foul of the afternoon. 8th team foul for Cincinnati. Still 8:25 to go in this first half, and UConn's in the bonus for the rest of the first frame.
I really like Josh Carlton. If he can get in world-class shape and work on finishing and being a little bit more active defensively, he has a chance as a young player to develop into a very good player in this league.
Yeah, just a sophomore, shooting 60% from the field. Good interior defender, shot blocker.
It's his ball screen defense, his inability to really work and get back in the play.
Cincinnati nursing a 3-point advantage right now. Their top player, Jaron Cumberland's on the bench.
Good double to the post right there.
Jennifer slashing. Oh, tipped up and in.
Yeah, a really nice job getting the glass. The benefit of dribble penetration. When you drive the basketball, you move the defense. When you move the defense, you get angles to rebound the ball. And that's Cincinnati basketball. Not always pretty, but the first to the ball wins. And most times they are first to the ball.
Oh, they're going to grind you out. They win games in the 50s and low 60s. That's kind of where they play at.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
Old school grinders.
Gilbert. Floater.
Alteric Gilbert getting anywhere he wants, anytime he wants. His ability to get into the lane. Really good spacing right now by Connecticut, giving him driving lanes.
Johnson finding Scott. And also Diarra is fouled. And he'll shoot free throws when we come back.
Alteric Gilbert can get in the lane, make plays, and finish. His ability to attack closeouts, change speeds, change direction. Oh, by the way, he's got a flat. Those are 4 teams that can win in the NCAA tournament. Talk about Villanova. They've lost 2 in a row. On the road, this is almost a crucial game for them in this moment in time. You don't want to get rolling in the wrong direction. They go as far as Eric Pascal and Phil Booth take them.
It's got to be scary, though, with a team that's won 2 national championships over the last 3 years. If teams or people start to say, I don't know about Villanova this year. What do you mean?
Oh, they're a tournament team. Here's
Yeah.
my concern about Villanova. They're so reliant on those 2. They're winning on culture. That's what they're winning. Colin Gillespie gives them some good minutes. They got some good young players. Sadiq Bey, I really like. In time, I think he's going to be a terrific player. I think he could be, potentially an NBA player. But they're such a young team. You can't lose DiVincenzo. You can't lose the people that they've lost. 3 NBA draft choices and expect to be where you are. Amari Spellman, Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges. You don't lose those type of guys and not have an adjustment period. But Booth and Pascal have been terrific.
I'm sure a lot of teams would like to have the adjustment period where you lose all those NBA talent. You still have over 20 wins. You're going to go to the tournament. It's crazy.
Well, Mick Cronin lost Jacob Evans. He lost Gary Clark, who's playing with the Trailblazers. Right, he basically had to rebuild this whole team. This was supposed to be a rebuilding year for Cincinnati. They are 22-4. They are a top 20 team. I don't care who is voting. I don't care if you don't like the way they play. I don't care if you think they're offensively challenged. You know what they do? They score more points than their opponents, and they win games.
I 100% agree. And I cannot see them not being in the top 25 tomorrow. To your point, you said that earlier. There's Mattel with a steal.
Too long a pass. I mean, right there, Ken Broom, right? Keep your dribble alive. There's no 5-second code. Keep your dribble alive. Bring the ball to the action. Don't pick up your dribble until you're ready to pass the basketball. Simple rule now.
Diarra. Rebound, Eric Cobb. Cumberland. Knocked that one away. And again, the officials will confer. Let's see whose ball it is. Cincinnati.
Christian Vital right there. You read the passer's shoulders, his eyes, runs through the passing lane. He's at a 5% shot. The one thing missing from this game right now is Jalen Cumberland. You're talking about the best player in this conference, possibly, and he has yet to score. And the focal point of Connecticut's shooter-out today, which was 2 hours, was taking Jalen Cumberland out of the game. They've done a really good job of face guarding him, denying him, and making it hard for him to catch. Always giving the second defender, getting the ball out of his hands.
This time he goes in there and gets the tip on the missed shot from Diarra. He was 0 for 2 prior to that. So to your point, Coach, only taking 2 shots. That's his first points of the day.
They are red denying him, which means off the ball, they're playing into his chest. Anytime he comes off the screen, they're committing a second defender to him.
Jump ball. Yep, it was tied up, and Cumberland got in there, and it's going to stay with Cincinnati on the alternating possession era.
Really good defensive game plan by Danny Hurley. Making it hard for Cumberland to create separation, and then finding him in transition, which is very important.
But this is to our point about Cincinnati, right? Cumberland's got 2 points. They're leading by 5. Their top scorer hasn't even been really involved as Vital turns it over on the trap.
They're leading by 5 because they're doing it on the defensive end. I mean, they're so good defensively. They contest you. The one thing they've got to clean up, in my opinion, they got to do a better job at time. They have to do a better job at times rebounding the ball on the defensive end, but they are relentless defensively. They contest every shot. If you watch right there, Christopher Vital and how he's defending Jerron Cumberland, he's not letting him catch the basketball.
5 turnovers for Cincinnati, 6 for Uconn so far in this first half with 5 to go.
Now watch now, Cincinnati, they understand they're struggling at times scoring, so what do? They extend their defense. They're going to try to speed Connecticut up. Connecticut's got small, quick guards. Hard to press Alter Gilbert. Watch, anytime there's a ball screen, watch what happens with the 2 defenders on Cincinnati.
Smith right now tries to take it in, and here's Cobb. One-on-one with Diarra. Got the basket, and he was fouled.
Really good patience by Cobb. Watch him there. Patient, work to the middle like all good post players do. Use your size, your strength. The key right there, if you can defend the post, defend it early, wall up, and make people score off you. One thing about Cobb, he's got 6 assists. Ball goes in there, forget about who you're guarding. Go down and scrape that thing out, double it, dig it out, and make him give it up. You know why? Because he's not going to give it up. Now with Vital out, watch right now, you've got Smith. Once Cumberland gives the ball up, watch how they defend him.
Oh, they try to get it to a back pass from Diarra, stolen away. Gilbert. Not there, no call. And out of bounds to Cincinnati.
I would think that Mick Cronin right now will try to run something to get Cumberland the ball. Now, they commit a second defender to him. He'll become a playmaker out of this. Whether it comes off a stagger screen, as they show on those screens, he will look to make them, they call the pocket pass to the big. Let's see what happens right here.
got Moore out there with Diarra, Broom, and Williams. Alongside Cumberland, who has it. He kicks it to Williams for three. Credit the Huskies on the defensive end here today. Smith. Gilbert, it's blocked by Williams. Broom back to Williams, and that's going to be a blocking foul. No, offensive. Called the charge, yes, the other way. Williams with his second. 3:43 to play.
National championship team, the 1999 team. On this stage, you want to play your very best, and getting a win obviously speaks volumes. It helps in the most important thing when you're building a program, recruiting.
Story of this game here, Cumberland being held to 2 points right now for Cincinnati. So if you're UConn and Coach Hurley, you like the way your team is defending here.
You play Cincinnati, you want to make someone else beat you. Try to get the ball out of Jared Cumberland's hands, and then make someone else beat you, and then rebound the basketball. And they've done a really good job defensively.
What a jumper in the corner from Tariq Gilbert. UConn is right there in this thing like they were the first time these two teams met and went to overtime in Cincinnati, a 2-point Bearcat win.
Gilbert has been very good in getting in the lane and making plays. He also has the ability to make shots.
Broom, he got fouled.
Broom is hard to contain. Left-handers are different. He as well as Gilbert does a great job of changing speeds, and he's got a floater. And if you're a little guard, having a runner, a floater, having different layups, so important. He finds ways to get to the line.
Substitution, Justin Jennifer's back in for Logan Johnson for Cincy. I mean, Jennifer's like their best three-point shooter percentage-wise, but there's some games where he doesn't even get opportunities to put it up.
Now he's going to play off the ball, which will make it a little bit easier. And one thing about Jennifer, he doesn't turn it over. One of the leaders in the country in assists to turnover. I think that Nick Cronin made this change because he's got to keep these guards out of the lane right now. Containing the basketball, keeping the ball in front has been really difficult for Cincinnati.
Under 3 to go, first half.
Watch, here's the switch. Now you got a big on a small. Tariq Gilbert, he's got to attack that big.
He does not. So Seme and Gilbert, an NBA range 3. Offensive rebound cut.
And there's a perfect example. You create the big on small switch, you shoot the ball, but at the rim, you've got a small trying to cut out a big. That's difficult.
Jennifer gets by the defender as the crowd was coming to their feet here in Hartford. Back to a 3-point lead for Cincy. On the pull-up, Terrence Smith.
Really impressive with what Connecticut's doing against the matchup. Quick ball screens, quick ball movement, attacking matchups, and getting to the glass.
Jennifer off the screen. Fires at the deck. And the step back, and that's good. Now he's coming alive here in this first half. Justin Jennifer. Talked about his assist to turnover ratio, 4th in the nation. Care of the ball as Smith works his way in on Jennifer. Cobb gets the step, does it again. Crowd appreciating the effort.
Cobb is a guy that you can build through. Now, look, he's got to get in world-class shape. He's got to learn to compete every single night. But his size, his footwork, and his physical strength, he has the potential as a sophomore to develop an impact player in this conference.
Hasn't missed today, 4 for 4 from the field with 8 points.
Change of defense right there. Coming out of the timeout, Uconn in a little 2-3 zone. They're extending that zone out a little bit.
Diarra taken away. Wilson. Traveling violation.
Sidney Wilson, he is an electric athlete that's still learning how to play, but that James Harden might get away with that one, but Sidney Wilson, it's not happening.
Almost a 1-point Uconn advantage, but not quite. 25 seconds left, first half, 3-second differential, shot clock, game clock.
Cincinnati will go for one. Now, Mick Cronin, how is he going to get Jaron Cumberland a shot right here? That's going to be the question.
They give it to him, 5 to shoot. He's got it, 3
He
on the
can shoot
clock.
it deep.
A wild one, no. Rebound. Oh, put back up and in by Trayvon Scott. Count it right before the buzzer.
And if you're Danny Hurley, that is not the way you want to finish out a half. That your team competed at a high level, did a great job on Cumberland, denying him the basketball. Anytime he comes off the screen, they're showing the second defender. As we said, Cobb has been terrific, carving out space, scoring in a variety of different ways. Rebounding will become an important factor in this game in the second half.
Ball goes into Trayvon Scott. He got it knocked away by Smith, and Uconn gets a steal to begin the second half. Huskies 0-11, trailing at the half this season.
That's not good.
No. It's been tough. I mean, that road game the other night at SMU, not what Coach Hurley was looking for at all. But here, coming back today to respond, it's a good sign against a top Cincinnati team. Jennifer, wow, 3-pointer from deep. The Bearcats lead by 6.
Just a little dribble handoff. Jennifer jumps up, talking about a 47% three-point shooter. Big-time shot.
This is the largest lead of the game for Cincinnati here today at 6 points. Carlton wants it. Good ball movement here. 3-pointer Gilbert. Ripped away by Williams. And a call jump. There's a timeout there. Williams at the towel. And it's going to stay with Uconn.
Defensive transition so important for Danny Hurley's team. And Jennifer made a big-time shot down the other end, but they've got to be more. They have to be more alert defensively.
Not a good pass in the inbounds. See if Uconn can still recover it. No, Jennifer had it. Now here's Gilbert. He's got it.
This is like a rock fight.
Look at this. Another takeaway. Cumberland for Jennifer. Oh, coach, and a lot of contact, too. And now foul. So it looks like Carlton was able to get most of the ball there on the shot from Scott.
We have about 12,000 people watching this pickup game right here. Two teams just playing really hard. It is hard to get a good shot. It's hard to get to the rim. Two teams drawing a line in the sand. It sounds like a cliche, but you're talking about a Connecticut team that last time out did not play very well against SMU. Danny Hurley challenged them. They have responded. And you're talking about a Cincinnati team that they've got 22 wins right now and basically very little national respect. And they're trying to get that 23rd and be a step closer to a good seed.
I can only imagine the roller coaster of kind of emotions. I mean, how about when you were coaching, when you have a bad game, and you come off one, and then all of a sudden you go out and you play amazing.
It happens so few times.
Right.
No, it's really hard. This time of the year is hard. Or it's hard if you have having a season like Connecticut's having, where you're just trying to fight and survive and try to establish something. And for Cincinnati, it's hard because you're in the tournament. Now you're playing for a seed and trying to play your best basketball at the end of the season. Oh, go!
Williams Back into Cumberland for falling out. But I agree with you. I think Cincinnati not getting respected. There's still a ton for them to, play for and try to impress to get a good seed for the tournament. They haven't let up one bit as Brooks lays it in. So now all of a sudden it's a 9-point lead after we had a 3-point game at the half.
Danny Hurley needs a timeout. Jaron Cumberland, he can really shoot it, he can score it, but he also has a very good feel for the game if you draw two. Yeah, I think there's a lack of depth on this Connecticut team that surely is going to impact it. They've got to rebound the basketball, and they've got to be a little bit more alert in their ball screen defense. And this is a big possession right now for UConn. I would expect they would try to go to the senior Cobb on the block in some way, or Alter Gilbert getting some type of quick ball screen.
Coming out of the timeout, Gilbert, and he lost it. Jennifer, what a pass, Williams.
Great pass right there, great finish. How active was Cincinnati that last possession defensively? And Monty Young, one of the assistant coaches at Connecticut, he coached Williams in AAU basketball. And he must be looking and saying, he did a pretty good job.
No doubt. It's an 8-0 run here as Gilbert misses a three. Tracked down though by Smith. And they needed that. Terrence Smith.
Really nice job of recognizing the defense.
Williams again, and he is fouled by Gilbert.
Justin Jennifer, he just has a good feel. Great job. Head up, sees Williams. Williams with the finish. It seems like, watch his head up right there. He's seeing that play right there. He watched that play develop, put it on time, on target, good finish. Yeah, you talk about Jennifer. His first 2 years at Cincinnati, he didn't start one game. But instead of finding a reason why not, he found a reason why. He was playing behind Troy Copain. He understood that his time would come if he continued to work, and then look what's happened in his career. Great story of stick-to-itiveness and understanding the process.
And what a great example that Nick Cronin can also use to potential recruits, too. When you're going out there, you don't just come in and promise people playing time and this and that. He doesn't do that. He says, you got to earn it.
Everything's earned. And Nick Cronin, they've done a good job of redshirting players. They have 2 players they're redshirting right now. They do a terrific job of player development. Sean Kilpatrick, he redshirted, and he's had a pretty lucrative NBA and European career.
2 6'7" and 6'8" forwards that Cincinnati will have next year. They're going to lose only Jennifer and Kane Broom, the lone seniors on this team. And this is Trayvon Scott. And the junior, he'll be back another year, and he makes it a 44-31 advantage for Cincinnati. It's a 12-2 run. Back to Hartford with...
I called Seth Greenberg, not Jay Billis, right before the game, and that's how we won.
It was. I'm not sure about that. No.
Jay was not sure about that. More importantly, it was a special time, and I think that anybody's been ever to win a championship, obviously national, Big East, whatever it may be, it's special moments. And Dean Smith once told me, make sure you win because nobody remembers who finished second. That's Dean.
Those shared experience with those guys, what is that like when you get that group together?
Unbelievable. Last night, they were at the hotel. I think we got together. I had a game, and I came back, and I think we had 12 of them, Richard, Khalid, etc. And we had a suite in the Hilton, and we had it scheduled for 12 o'clock. About 3:30, they asked us to leave because they wanted to tell lies about me and themselves and how great they were. No, but you're 100% right, Seth. You know as a player, the feeling, as a coach, that never leaves you. It's the rest of your life, and what a special, special thing.
Khalid, I mean, he doesn't look any different.
He's still talking. Not only did he shock the world, many times he shocked his team and his coach. But special group of guys, Jake Fosco and Rosh. And I wish Ricky was here. I mean, our kids, they'll always be our kids. It's a very special time for us.
When you look at that group, Chris, I mean, that group, they were historic. And then you look at right now what Danny's trying to do to reestablish the rich tradition of Connecticut basketball. What do you see?
Well, I think the biggest thing is to get pieces. Everybody thinks about getting talent. Well, you need the Rips and Khalids, but you need pieces. If you can get, for example, and and I know you agree with this one, a Kevin Freeman, a 6'7", 230-pound guy that would do anything to win. If you want me to shoot, I'll shoot, rebound, etc. You need those. Ricky Moore. Suleiman Wan, who came off the bench, is 7 feet. My point being is you got to have pieces, and obviously you got to have talent. And then you got to get, I think every coach knows this, you know when you're not going well, on a roll. And when you get on a roll in a tournament, we had a team with Kimba, 5 games, 5 days. Everybody said, was it hard? Not we won every game. No, but rhythm, feeling good about each other. Think he's going to win.
Must be proud, too, to see where these players are at now and what they've done, you know, through your leadership, not only on the court, but off.
Pretty special. I asked Jake for a loan. He's selling oil stocks. Great. I saw what Rip made his career. I asked him for a loan also. But my one thing was, yeah, they have really matured. It's amazing to see him. Getting just quickly back to what Seth said about gaining. You know, we can be all we can be. And I think the league or anything else is not going to stop us from being good. I watched Gonzaga. I watched us in the early days at UConn. You need to get talent in the pieces. And if the culture's right, and I think Danny's going to create that.
Now, you talk about the talent and the pieces. You have decided at what the ripe young age of, we won't talk about that, of rebuilding or starting a whole program. What was this year like for you at St. Joseph?
Well, I know one thing, like me, and we have many similarities, but like a lot of things, okay, there's no doubt in my mind that I really enjoyed these kids. Frustrations, yes. Some turmoil with teams because we create a culture of chaos. We go to. I've watched them practice. But more importantly, Seth, I think the biggest thing that we did is watch a group of guys come together. And by the end, a couple teams that were first place beat us, and we beat them in the tournament. And I think all those things are special. And the thing I was looking for, the itch, I don't, who knows how long and so on, but was scratched certainly because my guys are here today. Okay, now my guys. And very simply, you go on a trip to Maine for 5.5 hours. You play. Once they throw the ball up, there's no difference. And guess what? I want to add something about all officiating. Where are you, Big East officials? I could really use you right now. I need you.
Those guys are working 90 games a year.
I know that.
Now for about $4 grand a game.
but it's special. I think we all would think that and think, it's such a wondrous game. I don't care if you're at St. Joseph's of Connecticut or Philly Dickinson. I don't care where you are. The feeling of winning and being a team, it's life-altering experiences. Did
your new guys get a chance to visit with your old guys?
They have. And I got already a promise from Kimba. They all want to meet Kimba. And they knew Kim was wonderful. But some of the how good Rip Hamilton was. One of the last great mid-range jump shooters in the game. And my point being is a lot of that stuff that they could get. And they are amazed by, like I said, I'm not going to anoint you Ray Allen. It doesn't work quite that way. I'll tell you what he did, and you got to try at least match that and then some.
Coach Calhoun joining us here as UConn trails it by 12 in the second half. Mike Corey alongside Seth Greenberg. This is going to be out of bounds. Let's go to Cincinnati. Coach, how about the difference coaching today than even 5 years ago, than 10 years ago? Like all the different things that you have to deal with, I guess, and learn and go through that wasn't the case, years ago. It's changed dramatically.
Social media changes everything. It really does, because you can't say something in the locker room or someplace else. 2 minutes later, somebody else is reading it. Like you tell a kid, you're the only point guard I had. and the kid says, well, you sold it to 5 guys, Coach. We couldn't. That changes greatly. I think the other thing is, I still believe this, right? It will always be that kids want to win, kids want to play. Some of my kids last night had tears in their eyes. I mean, it's our first year. We ended up winning 16 games. We had a great run. But they care as much as my UConn guys did about the actual games itself, winning, losing, and growing together as a team. We're so tight right now, I wish you could play next week. You know what I'm saying? You get that at the end of the season.
Now, what are your former players, when you talk to them about this new team that they were coach, you've had a good run.
Yeah.
I mean, life is good. Enjoy it. Have they had that conversation with you? Or are they excited that you're back at it, trying to impact other people's lives?
You know what they say to me? This is 100% true, because I've said the same thing. But they say, but you always coach us on the court, and then off the court, and then a phone call, Rip. You got a chance to go with the ESPN. Khalid, CBS. You know what I'm saying? So they said, you're just going to coach everybody all the time, except for my wife. I can't coach that.
We understand who's in charge of the family.
Yeah, I'm an assistant coach at home. No,
We all are.
That's the head coach.
But I'll tell you what, it's great to see the crowd here. Obviously, you want to come back. I'll tell you one thing that Mick Cronin does. You know how you notice Virginia's box outs? Watch them on defense rebound. 5 guys in spots. They're terrific as far as the way they run the game. I'll tell you what, and they get what they want to get. I always think they should go inside more, but they seem to have better answers than we do.
Jennifer.
They've improved some offensively, but they are tough and physical. They know exactly. They were like your teams. They know exactly who they are and how they're supposed to win.
Yeah, each guy knows who he is. So I'm not a big guy trying to go down the middle. They know exactly what they are. The only difference, we play at a little different speed.
Yeah.
You know, but he grinds you out. He really does. And kids get tired of being contested in every shot. But I once again, I feel confident that UConn's going to be fine. We just got to get pieces and talent. It begins with talent. You know, I was watching Steve Peichel's team, and he was one of my first captains. And Steve said, I need one kind of player. I got good players. I need someone, and every coach in the world can relate to this. I need someone that can break someone down at the end of the clock. Isn't that funny? It's like the NBA, they talk about the same thing.
He's got those role players. He's got those tough guys. They play. Rutgers plays really hard. Steve Piper's done a really good job. The problem is everyone in that league has a guy, or the best teams, whether it's Michigan or Michigan State, they have a guy that can take over a game.
Exactly right. And some of the more talented teams, like Winston, you think about the kids at Michigan State and stuff, they have people that can do things. I tell you what, I do, you know, once again, he's my guy. But one thing I can almost guarantee you is that if he gets a couple more pieces, they're going to be a tough team to play.
Coach, it's so great to see you.
Thank you.
All the best to you.
Coach, enjoy those guys, man.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Jim Calhoun, former UConn head coach, joining us here from
Mick Cronin, pound for pound, and I'm not just talking about his stature, is as good a coach as any coach in America. Look at the wins the last 2 years. Mark Few and Gonzaga playing in the West Coast Conference, Villanova, and then Cincinnati. That shows you the consistency and the productivity and the excellence of Cincinnati basketball.
Well said, Seth. I mean, I don't know how it's not more of the conversations when you talk about coaches like this, because you think about it, 9 straight. I mean, not only that, but just the type of guys that he recruits, too. You know, they got NBA talent coming out of here as well, and then they develop players. They just play hard every
Player
night.
development, creating what is acceptable and what is not acceptable in your program in terms of how hard you play, how tough you are, how you're going to defend, how you're going to rebound. And Nasir Brooks, he got foul trouble in the first half. Right? He is a difference maker. It has nothing to do with just scoring. It has to do with rim protection, rebounding, physicality, and toughness.
You're mentioning with this team about trying to win a game, multiple games in the tournament, and make some noise. And, you know, I don't know if you want to face this kind of team. I mean, they're on the verge, if they hold on today, to go to 23-4.
How crazy, 23-4. I mean, look, at times can they get stuck offensively? I think they're better offensively right now, Cincinnati. I think they have more guys that can make a shot and make a play.
And they play in the 6th rated conference in the country. There's 32 conferences, folks, in the country. Okay, the American right now, there are some awesome teams in this league. 6th best conference in the country. They play it night in and night out.
Well, they're going to get 4 teams in the NCAA tournament, I suspect. You look at the Pac-12, they might get 2. The Big East, probably 4 as well. I mean, this is a conference, and it's a tough travel conference as well.
48-35. It's Hal makes it a 13-point game. That's the thing. When talking with Coach Calhoun about this, the UConn now, of course, is different than the UConn before. You're not quite, you know, the same teams. Now you got different, you're right, travel situations, and that's crazy.
The American Conference is a terrific conference. I think it's been a hard adjustment for UConn. I think it's been a hard adjustment for their fan base. I mean, they're used to seeing Georgetown and Syracuse and Villanova, and they're trying to develop rivalries with the teams in the American Conference. But when you look at their history, the American Conference is not part of their history.
But there are some great teams that you're playing and awesome atmospheres and environments. So it's right there, and you'll develop those rivalries as the years go.
Great atmosphere at Wichita State, great atmosphere at Cincinnati, great atmosphere at Temple. And Houston is a tough place to play. So I mean, Houston, that place rocks right now at the TV Center. So, and I can't wait to be there on Saturday. Game day coming there Saturday, and I'm excited to see their team practice. I'm going to get in on Thursday, and I'm looking forward to just seeing Kelvin Sampson with his team and the depth of their team, their athleticism, and how they go about it. And this team at Houston reminds me of Kelvin Sampson's 2002 Final Four team when he was at Oklahoma.
Well-rounded team down there for sure. Look forward to watching you guys with game day, as the Cougars have the nation's best record at 26-1. 13-point lead here for Cincinnati. 3 on the way. Wilson not there. Cumberland pulls it down. 4th personal foul for Nazir Brooks for Cincy. He has went to the bench.
Yeah, we get back to Houston. I mean, think about the shot Michigan has to make to knock them out of the tournament. And they're better this year. And they're deeper this year.
That's the thing. Sometimes people forget about that. You know what Michigan ended up doing, going to the Final Four, but they almost didn't get out of that matchup versus Houston.
Well, they went to the championship game, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
So, I mean, Houston will be a very tough out in the NCAA tournament, as will Cincinnati.
Scott blocked by Carlton, and it's UConn possession. Halfway through the second half here today. It was really cool at the halftime to see Coach Calhoun and that 99 team honored here. Not one person I felt like left their seat. Everybody was standing up watching the video board. They introduced all the guys. It was great.
Nothing better as a coach to spend time with your former players. Obviously, especially a team that accomplished that. And look at the dudes on that team. I mean, that team had toughness, but the one thing about Jim Calhoun that people do not understand, not only did he recruit well, but he evaluated well. He's found guys that he saw where guys were going, not where they were. You're talking about Kevin Freeman. He also saw the best in guys that he could help build a team with.
Rebound here by Scott. And you said this earlier, Coach, about trying to come back on this Cincinnati team. Not easy. Now it's in double figures.
It's not easy because they can own the tempo of the game offensively and defensively. Unless you beat them down the floor and play ahead of the defense, they are really hard to score against early in the clock in the half court.
You saw that graphic. They had missed their last 6 shots until that Cumberland drive. But with that defense, you can sustain it when you're not scoring on the offensive end. This drive goes in here by Sidney Wilson.
It ties into the conversation about Virginia. Last year, Virginia lost in the NCAA tournament to UMBC. And so people said, oh, Virginia, their style of play, they can't come back. If you get stops, you can come back. And I really think that Virginia is a Final Four potential team this year.
Weren't they down by 10 the other day, and they came back and won?
Came back because you get stops.
Duke and Virginia Tech coming your way Super Tuesday. 7 o'clock starts off our doubleheader. Then we've got Wisconsin at Indiana. We'll see if Zion Williamson is back in the lineup or not. It's going to be a tough matchup versus V-Tech there, as Duke won yesterday by 10 over Syracuse.
Kerry Blackshear playing really at a high level with Justin Robinson out. More pressure on Blackshear for Virginia Tech. Blackshear has been terrific. And then Zion Williamson doesn't play. We saw what R.J. Barrett did the other day. But the other guy that needs to step up is Cam Reddish. They've got to know what they're getting out of him each and every night at Duke. He must be more consistent.
30 and 7 assists for R.J. Barrett in the last game. Blackshear's averaging almost 25 points and 12 rebounds in the last 3 games for the Hokies. Ball out of bounds. UConn ball. And a timeout. 7:49 to play in the second half. Bearcats in control. You're up by 13.
Understand, I know what I don't know. I know hoop. I don't know how to call a game, and I talk too much. That would really be a disaster.
I'm not saying that.
You shouldn't. My daughters coached me up and say the same thing.
Cincinnati, they've won the last 6 here at UConn, trying to make it 7 as they lead it by 13 as Carlton works it in. Rebound, Vattel, count the basket, and he's fouled.
Such a good rebounder from the guard position. Leads UConn in rebounding. Just rips it away from Scott with a little physicality. Val plays hard. The challenge for Vitalis to just do what he does well. He's got to compete. You got those 3 guards out there for UConn now. I would be surprised to see them try to extend their defense a little bit.
Well, it's a 3-point play. Need a little bit of a spark here. It's only a 10-point game. Still 7:25 to go. UConn 4 of 10 at the free throw line. Now that hasn't helped. The crowd starting to get into it again. Foul away from the ball.
Every time Jaron Cumberland comes off the screen, they either switch or show a second defender. Right there, they were late on the switch, and that's why Williams was open on the other side on what we call floppy action, which is the screen guards screen for each other, and the bigs were pinned down.
3 fouls now on Terrence Smith for UConn. Cumberland. Scott for Fredericks. That's a 3. Rebound Scott. Blocked again. Carlton. He's been huge inside. And now foul is called on Cincinnati.
This is really good effort right here. Good contest, stay with the play, be physical. And that's the type of play that Danny Hurley is looking for from his team. Carlton makes these 2 free throws. All of a sudden now, it's manageable.
Yeah, this is where you can get it back now. UConn's in the bonus for the rest of the game. 6:53. That's the 4th foul on Scott. 17th foul. UConn as a team shooting 68% from the free throw line. And let's get the bench going, says Coach Hurley.
Danny Hurley doesn't coach his team. He's engaged with his team.
7-0 run here for UConn. And the lead is sliced down to 8.
Good timeout right there by Mick Cronin. Momentum is so important at this stature of the game. Danny Hurley is an inch and learning your trade. You know, being in practice every day with his father, who I can honestly say of all the practices I've ever watched, the best practices I've ever had opportunity to observe in person, Bob Hurley Sr.
Oh, wow. That's high praise.
And he understands the process. I mean, what he built at Wagner, what he built at Rhode Island, he understands. He doesn't want it to take time, but he understands it takes time.
Williams, 3 ball, no. Foul on the rebound as Moore went after it for Cincinnati. This foul is going against UConn.
UConn doing a great job, Mike, of taking Jaron Cumberland out of the game. So it's forcing Cincinnati's secondary scorers to make plays and then offensive rebound, which is many times their best offense.
Cumberland's only got 6 points today.
Because every time he comes off a screen, hopefully we can get a good play. Every time he comes off a screen, they are either switching up and denying or committing a second big defender to him. He's good at just rising up right there. That's his thing.
That's a tough shot. Gilbert slashing through and he got fouled.
You see Danny Hurley right there, Mike, what is he asking his team to do? Huddle up, get tight, talk to each other, be on the same page, energize each other. And that's part of the process of creating the atmosphere and the environment that he wants for his team.
No, I thought that word he used was great. It was engaged. He's engaged, not just there. He is right in it. He wants his players to do the same, and they've got a chance to cut it to a 6-point game.
Every once in a while, I come up with a good word.
Yeah.
I use so many of them. Eventually,
Right.
I got to come up with a good one eventually.
Forget about it. Lowest scoring game for Cumberland this season was 3 points at UNLV. And he's held in check. The crowd rising to their feet here at the XL Center. Jennifer, a lot of dribbling, and it's taken away by Smith. 3-ball, Polly, yes! Cincinnati's out of sorts. Williams rejected by Carlton. And a foul on the Bearcats.
Little hand back right there. Look at Polly knocking down the three. Think he's not into the game. When your team's playing well, man, it's fun.
And how about this atmosphere, huh? Too, Coach, a glimpse of when this place is rocking and what's happening here at UConn. This is not easy in this environment.
The job they're doing on Jared Cumberland's ridiculous. They are not letting him catch the ball. That turnover that Jennifer created was because he was trying to get the ball to Cumberland. Just couldn't get him the ball. They got to move Cumberland side of the action right now.
So they also got a little bit of foul trouble going on as well, too, with Trayvon Scott. The 6'8 junior's got 4 fouls. Nasir Brooks, the 6'11 junior's got 4 fouls. It is a 13-0 run here by UConn. They get a 14-0 run. They're within a point.
The personality of this team changes when Brooks is out of the game.
Cumberland's frustrated, Coach. You can see it. Down low, Brooks. Short. Rebound, it's fouled. Is fouled. And Brooks just fouled out.
Brooks trying to work his way to the middle of the floor, loose ball. Sometimes there's false hustle. Brooks is playing hard, he's competing, but that foul takes him out of the game. He's got to understand that's not a good decision. Sometimes you've got to give up the possession to win the war.
How about this? And the foul trouble, too, mounting up now for Cincinnati. Third time Brooks has back out of the game this season, and UConn has their first lead since it was 9-7 after trailing by 15 points.
That ball goes in. They don't worry about the post up. They're worried about the balls coming back out. Jared Cumberland, they cannot post it on the first side, because they post it on the first side, the possession ends. They've got to get the ball reversed and then get Cumberland back in the action. You enter to him on the first side, yes, they're allowing you to post it because they're giving that up. You've got to find a way to get Cumberland more involved in this game.
Smith taking a double clutch. And a jump ball, the towel tying up Williams. It's Cincinnati possession. Cincinnati ball. And for some reason, Cincinnati looking a little tentative on the offensive end when they get it inside.
Look at right here. That's a good job of Williams, but Patel engaged in the game, pursuing the basketball. This is a big possession for Cincinnati, because if you enter the ball on the first side to Cumberland, the defense is set. They're loaded to the ball. They'll give up the post pass. You've got to get the ball reversed and move this defense. Watch Smith just totally denied. Physical with Cumberland. Above his man, not let him catch the basketball. Great screen.
Gained room, and misses the jumper. The rebound is there by Williams, and he lays it in. Cincinnati stopping a 16-0 run by UConn. They had missed 14 of their last 15 shots until that cleanup there.
UConn can't settle right now. They got to play downhill. They got to try to get a paint touch off the bounce. They've got to attack.
Gilbert short on the three, and Cumberland's got the rebound. What are they looking for here?
I want to see if they get Cumberland posted up or set him as a screener because he's being fronted. He's on some movie screen. And that's the right idea, but wrong execution. Because Cumberland's being denied, it's almost a double screen, but he cannot move. He needs to be more disciplined. We've got 6.
Go for their last 6 cents. See if that changes here this afternoon. Yeah, especially with screens today, you got to have that set. You can't be thinking of that last minute. That's what's going to get called.
It's potentially a double screen if you can just hold a spot by the way they're defending. They're going to have some type of baseline corner action right here. There it is.
This is Polly. That big three-pointer. Part of the 16-0 Huskies run. Mattel got blocked. Got it back. Blocked again. Williams for Cincinnati.
Good stand right there for Cincinnati.
Cumberland for Williams. Nails it. But the flush. And a foul or injured player down. It's Gilbert for UConn. Holding his left leg, and he'll get some help up. Slipped.
These teams are playing so hard. How about Cumberland? How unselfish. Very underrated passer. Comes off. They go set. Watch here. Shot fake. A second defender comes up. There's Gilbert's slip. Carlton come up and help, and he makes the right play.
Well, you said it earlier about his ability to see the floor and assist. Cumberland does a really good job with that. He leads Cincinnati in assists. And that one to Williams to make it a 3-point lead. 3 minutes to go. Four assists today for Cumberland. Carlton's been big in the interior for the Huskies. 25. Gilbert.
Big time play by Gilbert off that dribble handoff. And he is so explosive and has a lot of ways to finish. Here's a little isolation for Cumberland.
Working on Smith, and he hits it. And that's money for Jaron Cumberland.
That's a hard shot. And they were running a second defender from the backside at him. Ideally, you don't want to let him get to his right hand on that. But that was just a really good defensive possession and a better offensive finish.
Gilbert again slashing through, and Carlton puts it in.
They're having a hard time keeping Gilbert out of the lane. Let's see if Nick Cronin goes right back to that little elbow isolation where they try to get Cumberland at the elbow. See how Smith is denying Cumberland the ball? They got him just a foot further off his spot, which gives the defense a little more time to help.
Yeah, great defense by Smith. Now it's Kane Broom for three. Oh, that's huge. Kane Broom drains a three ball for Cincinnati, and they're up 4.
Good discipline right there by Cumberland. Better discipline by Williams, and Broom comes behind the penetration.
Holly trying to respond. Not there. Carlton the offensive board.
No Nasir Brooks. More difficult to rebound the ball, and that was a young, inexperienced foul right there by Diarra. John Cumberland really patient. Makes the pass out to Williams. Dribble penetration. Great job of Broom coming behind the play. Instead of standing, as soon as his defender turns his head, what does he do? He moves to an open area, ready to knock down that shot.
We haven't seen a lot of it, too, in this game. It's been really good defense by UConn. It's few and far between when they have that many good looks. That was a big-time three, and that's a tough miss there by Carlton as UConn was 3 for 10 to start from the free throw line. They had hit 9 in a row, and they just missed that one.
On the made free throw, look for UConn to really ramp up their defensive pressure. Maybe look to trap that first pass. It looks to me like a potential Three-quarter court, 1-2-2. 1-2-1-1. They're going to look to get more aggressive this possession, see if they can get a trap.
Gilbert picks up Jennifer as he brings it over, coming up on a minute to go.
If you can see in the bottom of the screen how Patel is defending Cumberland right into his body, not giving. That's a great job of using the double screen.
Jennifer misfires. Smith on the run. Terrence Smith. McCronin wants a timeout. And they finally see it. With 30.9 on the clock, it's a one-point game.
And, you know, right now, these young Connecticut players are competing at a level they surely didn't compete at against SMU a week ago.
Justin Jennifer to put it in.
First and foremost, you got to get the ball in bounds. I like the idea of getting Cumberland the ball in the middle of the floor, but watch out for Gilbert right there on the left of your screen. He is going to be in help.
Cumberland, short on the runner. Williams, the offensive rebound. The shot clock is at 1. Broom, he hits the three. Kane Broom does it again with 1 on the shot clock from 3-point range, and their
ball goes in. You got to be up to run the baseline on the make and just make sure that you get the ball in. Cincinnati, 1 timeout left. I'm sure McCronin covered that in his timeout or during the dead ball. See the full court pressure? They're just trying to force Connecticut to use a little time up the floor. Great screen right there.
Gilbert gets the 2 with 6.2 remaining. And Coach Hurley and UConn use their final timeout as the teams will set up strategy here now. We'll tell you about sports.
Interesting that Scott's inbounding the ball. They put a defender, Wilson, on the basketball. Scott's got to understand he can run the baseline. Watch Kane Broom try to come over the top. Excuse me, Justin Jennifer maybe coming off of that double screen.
Cincinnati's got a timeout, and they're going to use it here. Trayvon Scott almost called for the violation. Coach Hurley says 5 seconds, but they got the timeout just in time. And that is their final timeout. Well, that could have been disaster. Their best free throw shooter at 78%, 34 there for Cincinnati. 2 for 2 today. We'll see if he gets it. It's going to be Trayvon Scott once again to put it in with Sidney Wilson for UConn in his face.
There's Cumberland going deep. Nice job.
It's into Williams, and he's going to head to the free throw line.
Really nice job. What they did was they ran Cumberland out, which opened up a space for Williams then to get open. Really nice job right there. You can't bring everyone in the backcourt. Too difficult.
Wilson with his 3rd foul for UConn. 4.9 left. Here's a stat for today anyway that certainly would make a Cincinnati team even more dangerous in the tournament. They're 13 of 14 at the free throw line, so they haven't missed much. It's a 1-and-1, however.
Wilson is 62% free throw shooter.
2 for 2 today. Each team out of timeouts.
New York guys, man, they just step up to the line, make free throws. Kamani Young, the assistant coach at Connecticut, probably disappointed but proud of his guys stepping up and making that free throw.
This could seal it. 4-point lead for Cincinnati. Holly back over to Gilbert. Fires from 3. No good. And that's how it's going to end up. 64-60. Cincinnati escaping UConn with a 4-point win. It took them an overtime.